It's been quieter around here ever since Vladimir went to live on the eye full-time.
I must confess, the hum of a grav drive makes me feel alive. Certainly. Goodbye.
I feel like I've been waiting my whole life for this. Constellation, feel free to help yourself at the bar. I don't drink, but I feel like if I did, there's certainly precedent, isn't there? We've been operating for a while now on the fringe. I just think we should be open-minded, keep everything on the table. I did say it was a metaphor, didn't I? Never meant it to be taken It's the argument I have with Walter every other week. We have all of them at our disposal, and I... Take care of yourself.
Good luck out there on the fringe. Keep both eyes on the back while you're out there. Nothing yet. Still,
Stolen any sacred relics?
burning helium across the fog.
You
Let's
really aren't
deal.
gonna let it go, are you? I'm so busy with our work here that...
Find myself. You know you can take a mark. You don't open comms.
Telling me you haven't been on the
It's all storm, but if you're not so
If you
sure...
must know, there's rumors of an 18th century English translation of the Bhagavad Gita.
Maybe.
I was following up on.
All the worse for us, not knowing their intent. A striker lurking in the shadows has good reason to hide. Show the words another time, then.
Take note. Everyone here is worth learning from. Yes.
Hello, excellent to see you. I know that tone. Very well. What is it? Thank you, dearest. You are not so bad yourself. You are competent in a fight and pleasant to look at. What is not to love? Then I shall be sure to say it more often. Until our next talk.
Sarah's the best possible person to be running Constellation at a time like this. Focus. Not my first time in a hostile negotiation, as you well know. Admittedly, I usually know more about who I'm facing off against. I'm very interested in what Noel can learn from the scans. The technology on that ship was impressive. That's certainly true. And it also wouldn't hurt to give Stroud Eklund an advantage in the marketplace. Oh, right. I was afraid you were going to bring that up again. Very well. Let's see if I embarrass myself or not. My colleagues, I venture out into the dark. Nonsense, I say. If this last expedition is my time, that, dare I say, I am fortunate, my soul, and that was the last thing Sebastian Banks ever said. I want you to know I was very impressed with your work back on Neon. I'm beginning to wonder if there's anything you can't handle. I'd like to test that theory. My Star Yard's been having a little trouble getting our next project off the ground. I need someone capable and decisive to step in and steer it in the right direction. Interested? Love the enthusiasm. I knew there was a reason I picked you to help with this project. It's a new ship. We want to diversify our fleet. Now, I don't know why the people I pay very handsomely to come up with new designs can't seem to get out of the R&D phase. And frankly, I don't care. I just want someone, you, to go there and show them how it's done. I did not. Part of the problem is that my designers seem to be having trouble agreeing on a plan. I should mention that you're not there to make design decisions. You're there to get the project back on track and help guide them. So, ideally, you're not adding to the problem. Excellent. I'll send word ahead to the project lead, Jules Degante, that you're taking point. They'll all be instructed to listen to you and follow your direction. I expect big things from you, so I'm excited to see what you manage to deliver. I don't believe you'll let me down.
Forgot to check the math on a few equations. Brain's
That's
long
an
gone.
interesting question.
Forgetfulness.
I'm afraid I don't really think about it too much in terms of what the specific...
Abilities are truly amazing.
Having a good one?
I'm sorry, I really can't afford to be distracted. I need to get to the bottom of this. Yes, concerned is an understatement. I work for the scientific division of MAST. I've been studying this tree for quite some time, and it appears to be exhibiting some worrying signs. Are you familiar with this particular specimen? Do you understand its importance?
It is a tree. They are quite prevalent in the city. This one is somehow different.
Yes, of course this one is different. It's only the most important tree in the city, perhaps even all of Jemison. Look, I have a lot of work to do here. If you're just going to gawk, I'd ask that you move on. If you can actually assist me, however, I would appreciate it. I don't normally solicit help from random... A mercenary, huh? Well, I'm sure we can work something out. So, are you on board? Well, thank you. That's unexpected. There's a series of biosensors I've placed in various locations around New Atlantis, all calibrated to gather pertinent information. They've been running for long enough that I think it's time to collect and analyze their findings. If you would bring them to me, that would save time.
I do appreciate that not every meter of land was plowed under to build this city. This tree is far too grand for such a fate. 무슨 일이 있어요?
Can't talk right now, sorry.
Bonjour.
I know your type. The freewheel and space ace. Must be nice.
Find out the hard way if this water is unsafe.
Hey, are you looking for eggs too? I've only found one so far, but I want to find more before anyone else does. So if you see some, can you tell me? Yeah, it was. Weird, right? Miss Seng over at UC Distribution bought the one I found, and she said she might buy more if I can find them. I could really use the credits.
Keep it moving.
I'm pleased to report that our stocks are currently being maintained at 90% or higher. I'm sure we have anything you might need. Welcome to UC Distribution. Something I can do for you? Who, Jordan? That kid's in here every other day with some random thing he found. Trying to get credits. Yeah, I took pity on him. Why, what is it? Oh, really? Well, you can have it back for what I paid for it, plus a little extra. Let's call it a convenience fee, shall we? I could, but I did pay for it. I'd like to recover my losses. And it's all the way in the back room. I'd have to walk back there, then back out here. You did say this was important after all. Honestly, it's probably worth way more than what we're talking about. Pleasure doing business with you. Right. Come back if you need something else. Welcome to UC Distribution. Something I can do for you? I hope we have what you need. You're always welcome back, if you don't mind a bit of a wait.
Ah, a face I never met. If I can take a few things, I will. It is always a pleasure. I am thankful these rides are quick. I do not like being in small, enclosed spaces with many people I do not know. I do find that statue pleasing. I wonder if it matches the original vision of the artist, or if they changed the design as they worked on it.
Another day, another shift.
Credit for your thoughts. I am always willing to carry an extra weapon. Or two. Or three. take care of yourself.
You will be scanned as you enter the city. Please. Okay.
It is still hard to believe.
This is your professor.
It's a done deal. Our whole office is getting moved.
If I move back to Neon, I miss New Atlantis.
If it isn't my favorite almost a lab assistant. What can I do for you? I appreciate your assistance, but I still need all of those sensors.
So you do. Wonderful. I'll just take these, and we'll see what they have to tell us.
All right, we'll just upload the data. Give it a moment. And just another moment.
It is working, isn't it? Ah, there it is. Leaf. Now, let's see. This is... well, it's... oh my.
Working at the Office of Interstellar Affairs is honestly a dream job.
Well, it's alarming to say the least.
Well, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that my suspicions were correct. There is something wrong with the tree. I will report my findings to MAST immediately with no small amount of satisfaction. The phrase, "I told you so," may even be uttered more than once.
Yes, I must admit it feels good to be vindicated. People can be so stubborn when it comes to plant life. It takes a botanist to truly understand that the well-being of plants is directly tied to the well-being of humans. But I digress. Let's get back on track.
The bad news, as it were, is that the internal composition of the tree is changing. In this particular case, the tree is now regularly emitting ultra-low frequency sound. This is something we've never observed before. I must consult with my colleagues in MAST at once.
Based out of the wild, somewhere outside the city, has thus far eluded capture by the
The data from the biosensors speaks for itself. These findings are... alarming.
are being taken to secure a key city. Should any united colony
Registration accepted. You may now proceed through the historical displays in the orientation hall, or continue on to the examination.
In 2150, humanity learned the Earth's magnetosphere would collapse sometime in the next half-century, eliminating all life on the planet. Decisive action was required, but the secure transport of an entire civilization would demand a new kind of cooperation. From their foundation, the United Colonies strove to provide all their citizens with opportunity, security. It was only in 2230 that the faction known as House Varun first made contact with the rest of the second. Beginning in 2240, House Varun forces declared all-out war on the rest of human civilization, initiating the Serpent's Crusade. Few settled worlds were left untouched by the colony war. But nowhere could the viciousness of modern warfare be seen more clearly than on the Freestar planet of Nera. Initially occupied by invading United Colonies forces as a forward operating position,
gave it over to
attempts
his
to take and
One of
retake
these
the
murals
planet by
said he was
preventive forces
executed after
led
the war.
only to devastation.
Might have gotten off too lightly.
Swaths of the world. In the midst of the colony war, a different kind of tragedy struck the UC city of Londinian. A newly constructed but critical supply center for the United Colonies' war effort, Londinian found itself overrun by one of the galaxy's most mysterious predators, the Terramorph. A rare but pervasive threat to all human-settled worlds, Terramorphs swept over the city, seemingly out of nowhere, on a scale never before seen in recorded history. Valiant efforts by the UC military slowed the onslaught, but the creatures proved unstoppable. Ultimately, the decision was made to destroy the Londinian spaceport, sealing off the city, the outbreak, and its citizenry from the galaxy at large. The tragedy of Londinian is mourned by the UC to this day.
No one knows how they move between the
Of the many conflicts between the galaxy's factions, none was more brutal than the recent colony war between the UC and the Freestar Collective. Set off by the unauthorized Freestar colonization of Vesta's Pride in 2308, a direct violation of the Nerion Treaty, the colony war spread quickly across the galaxy. Both sides deployed every tool at their disposal. Armadas of warships, mechanized combat platforms, or mechs, even bioengineered alien creatures, the infamous UC xeno-weapons. It was only in 2311 at the Battle of Cheyenne that the scales finally tipped. The Freestar Collective, utilizing their civilian fleet as a human shield, successfully crippled the superior United Colonies Navy. After their shocking victory against the galaxy's greatest navy, the Freestar Collective offered terms of peace, which the colonies, out of an interest in staving off any further human costs, accepted. The galaxy has been rebuilding ever since.
I suspect many in the Freestar Collective would take issue with the way the colony war
Settled worlds were left untouched by the colony war. But nowhere could the viciousness of modern warfare be seen more clearly than on the Freestar planet of Nera. Initially occupied by invading United Colonies forces as a forward operating position, repeated attempts to take and retake the planet by collective forces led only to devastation. Swaths of the world were transformed into scorched husks, a nightmarish testament to the depths of human ingenuity and human cruelty. And today, Nera remains a continuing reminder to the horrors of unfettered war.
All 4 of my last science papers have been on Terramorphs.
After the devastation wrought by the colony war, the UC and the Freestar Collective came together to ratify a treaty that became known as the Armistice. Both sides agreed to a vast reduction in standing forces, and that xeno-weapons and mech warfare would be outlawed. All related research was sealed away, accessible only in cases of dire emergency. But the Collective had another demand, that the active commanders of the UC military stand trial for their actions. The United Colonies, in the interest of peace and galactic security, agreed. In 2311, 3 United Colonies senior officers were found guilty. Commander Henry Durant, General Indira Rastogi, and Fleet Admiral Francois Sanon, known better as Ve Victus. All were sentenced to death for their actions, bringing the colony war to a close and returning peace to the galaxy at long last.
After everything, it is almost impossible to believe that the armistice happened. But I admit I am glad it did. The settled systems have benefited.
Ever wonder how... Oh, come on! Seriously?
It was into this new world that the Vanguard was born. An official branch of the UC Navy, the Vanguard is the United Colonies Volunteer Fleet, serving a myriad of security, logistical, and reconnaissance roles. And after a sufficient length of service, UC citizenship is guaranteed to every Vanguard member. Open to all captains, regardless of origin, the Vanguard is leading the charge to protect and support the citizens of the United Colonies, wherever in the galaxy they may be. No one is born a United Colony citizen. Only through service to the UC can one hope to earn one's citizenship. But the UC prides itself on taking care of its people. Cost of living controls mean citizens pay less than their foreign counterparts for needs big and small. All citizens are issued a grant upon joining to get themselves on their feet. And only UC citizens have the opportunity to purchase property, getting the chance to live in one of the most beautiful cities in the settled systems. By joining the Vanguard today, you too can begin earning your place here, in the heart of galactic civilization, as a citizen of the United Colonies.
You could not pay me enough to get in one of those things.